what is happening probably in the first world, or what is happening to most of the white people. Sorry to use these terms, white, black, but I will just highlight it. I'm not being racist, but what I noticed is most of the white people, they use their family trust. So what I'm explaining is a family trust has to own the company, the shares, or the family trust has to own the company, and the company is now owning the house where you're actually staying. It means you've protected yourself from creditors. I'm the one of the, I also made that similar mistake. You know, when you're starting business, sometimes loan sharks can come to you, will give you a loan at a lower interest rates. I think you guys also know what is happening in Ponzi schemes and these pyramid schemes. Unfortunately, you can get into that trap. And these guys, when they're now going after your house, they cannot do so because why? You've protected your house by putting it under what? A family trust, rather than putting it in your name. Because if you put it in your name, they can even attack you and they can even take your house, probably by saying, I think you guys have heard this term called piercing the corporate view, where they're now going direct to the directors. So it once happened to me when people are now suing me for a debt. And fortunately, all my assets are in a what? In trust. All my assets are protected in trust. So when you sue me today, I think the only thing which you can get probably is my phone, because everything, including cars, etc., everything is under a trust. So we really need to have this trust. And this trust is not only for the creditors. The other advantage of registering a trust is when you die today, let's say a company was owned by Jerry 50%, probably together with his wife or his brother in that same company, the other 50%. When Jerry dies today, it doesn't mean that it's automatic that the shares are going to be transferred to my wife. It means that those shares are supposed to be distributed through my estate. I think you guys have heard of deceased estates. So it means those shares within 30 days, they're supposed to be, we're supposed to register a deceased estate as the Master of High Court. And when we do so, it means the Master of High Court, when there's no will, he has got the right now to distribute those shares. So imagine if Jerry had probably 16 girlfriends and 16 children outside the marriage. Those ladies and those children are now claiming the 50% shareholding. It simply means that the master probably is going to deem it fit that these shares are supposed to be distributed fairly. It simply means that my partner is now having other 20 different shareholders, more than 20 different shareholders. But if Jerry had a trust, it simply means that because in a trust, you've got trustees and you've got beneficiaries. It simply means that the trust can move on because why? A trust is its own person. It has got nothing to do with Jerry. What we have to do after Jerry is dead is just resigning Jerry as a director, and the trust moves on. So it's so unfortunate that the reason why most of our companies are not moving from generation to generation, it's because we are not planning these things. These fundamentals are not being learned in schools. These fundamentals are not being discussed in forums. And also, I also blame our legal practitioners who are also not educating their people, because I've met a lot. I'll give you an example, which is a painful example, but if you may know, I'll give you an example because it was a public figure. If you know General Solomon Mjuru, I think he died in 2011, but up to now, his estate hasn't been settled, which means all those cars which are moving, some of the assets are no longer even running. Some of the assets are now even destroyed. Some of the assets are even stolen because there's a dispute there. And another one, I think if you still remember, General Parents Siri, when he died also, there was no will, there was no trust, and he left a lot of money. And these cases are still in the courts. Why? Because these things are not being taught. These things I prefer teaching these things because I started knowing of these things at the age of 27 years. But I'm saying, what about if we start teaching about these things in primary level and we start making our kids learn about entrepreneurship whilst they're very young? Because right now, you can have that career guidance or that career day which we have in our primary schools. Most of the people, they want to be doctors. Most of the people, they want to be accountants. Most of the people, they want to be nurses. They want to be soldiers. We've got very few people who want to be entrepreneurs. We've got very few people who want to be miners. We've got very few people who want to be farmers. But that's where the money is. Our economy is anchored on farming. Our economy is anchored on mining. But unfortunately, we don't have any kid who wants to be a miner when they grow up. But in the other side of the world, they are teaching their kids to be what? To be miners.